Assalamu alaikum, this is me Sham and you're watching my YouTube channel RILS The Lingua Expert. I'm the expert trainer of IELTS, PT, OET, IELTS Life Skills and other English language proficiency exams. In this video, I'm going to discuss another very important topic of English grammar, which is noun clause, one of the categories of dependent clauses. In the previous video, we discussed separately with respect to the definition of a clause and its types, where we learned that clause is actually a combination of at least subject and a verb, which can either stand alone to convey its complete sense or not. So basically, clause can be categorized into types according to its definition. One type is known as dependent clause, whereas the other type is known as independent clause. So dependent clause is also known as subordinate clause, whereas independent clause is also known as main clause. Dependent clause does not convey its complete sense, whereas independent clause conveys its complete sense. But remember, it's a combination of subject and a verb. Now, moving forward, when I discussed in the previous video that dependent clause can be further subcategorized, and we find three types of dependent clauses. One, noun clause, the second, adjective clause, and the third clause is adverb clause. So in this video, I'm just going to focus on noun clause, and in the upcoming videos, I will definitely record these lectures with respect to adjective clause and adverbial clause with its certain categories, which we have to separately make videos for. So if you haven't watched the previous videos, I do recommend that first you watch that video so that you can fully understand the concept of noun clause. Now let's begin with today's video. Noun clause is a type of dependent clause which acts or functions in a sentence as noun. In the previous videos of parts of speech where I separately discussed noun, that noun is a word which has its own identity, like anything that has its own identity by which you can name it or by which you can know it, or you name anything, that is called noun, and it functions in a sentence as subject and object place. So similarly, we discussed in the phrase that there is a noun phrase which also has the same property to make subject and object in a sentence. If we talk about noun clause, so noun clause functions the same as the parts of speech noun, the noun phrase in the phrase lecture, and this clause. But here the difference would be that clause is a combination of at least subject and a verb. Phrase is a word or group of words, and in the parts of speech, noun is only a word. So this is the difference that you see among these three different aspects in grammar: parts of speech, phrase, and clause. Now, as clause functions in a sentence as subject and object, and whether it's the direct object or indirect object in a sentence, so there are certain relative pronouns and subordinating conjunctions that we use in order to structure noun clause. So here, first I would like to tell you some of the relative pronouns that we mainly use in order to structure noun clause, out of which that, which, who, whose, whom, whoever, and you have got whatsoever, what, where. These all are the words which we used in order to structure our noun clause. So the second category which I've discussed, that we can also take few subordinating conjunctions to which we can also structure the noun clause, such as we can take how, when, whether, why. These all are the subordinating conjunctions through which we can structure the noun clause. I will give you a few examples of relative pronouns and also the subordinating conjunctions that we use in order to structure noun clause. Let's first get to start with the relative pronouns. Now, first example that I would like to quote here is that if I say that, tell me who will accompany me. I'm going to certain place and I ask someone that or I ask a group of my friends that tell me who will accompany me. Now, so here this is an imperative sentence. Tell me, that's an object, and see, me, who will accompany, or tell me who will accompany, right? So who will accompany me, that you need to tell me. So this is basically tell me who will accompany. This who will accompany, this is a structure of noun clause, that who will accompany me. The second example is that I don't know what the future holds. So in this sentence, I is the subject, don't know is a verb, right? And what the future holds. So it's a combination of at least subject and a verb. Word the future, it's a subject of this dependent clause, and holds is a verb. But what is the word? That is a relative pronoun. So this whole set, word the future holds, is a noun clause, and it works as an object in this sentence because subject is I and don't know is a verb phrase, and word the future holds is an object, which is a noun clause. And why it's a clause? Because it's a combination of subject and a verb. Now, the third example is that what I remember is that you submitted your assignment previously. So what I remember, this is the noun clause, combination of subject and a verb, I remember. So what I remember, this is functioning as subject of the sentence. What I remember is that, and this is verb phrase, and then that we will get to know that this is also an object. So subject and object, two of them, you use a noun clause. So you can use noun phrase, and you can also use a word in the parts of speech which we call it noun or pronoun to construct your subject and object position. One more example. So you should choose which perfume you want. In this sentence, you is a subject, should choose is a verb, and word perfume you want or which perfume you want, this is a noun clause which is working as object here. So somewhere it would act as a subject, like what I remember, this is working as a subject, and here I don't know how to do it or anything, so this will come as the object place, and this is a noun clause. Now let's get to have few examples of subordinating conjunction. The first example, if I say that whoever wins the game will qualify for the final, like two of the teams are currently playing in a game, and that's the semi-final, and you say that whoever wins this match will qualify the final. So here, whoever wins this match, this is basically a noun clause. Will qualify is a verb phrase, and then after that, so it is working as a subject, but this is a conjunction. Now next example I would like to quote here, that I don't know how to do it. So how to do it? So you don't know the manner, so it's an adverb of manner, or here it is working like as a noun clause. That the third example I would like to quote here, that morning time is when I feel more energetic. So when I feel more energetic, this is basically working as a noun clause. So you have got subject, morning time is a verb, and then I feel more energetic, this is basically a noun clause. And last example I would like to quote here, that where I come from is not important for you. So where I come from, this is working as a subject, where I come from, and is not important for you. So these are the few examples for a noun clause. Either you can use them at a subject place or object place, or the object of the preposition. Sometimes I'm not interested in what you do, so I'm not interested in what you say even. So in is a preposition, and what you say, this is an object, and you see that of preposition object. But mainly in a sentence structure you would see 5 components: subject, verb, object, complementation and adverbial. So your 2 of the components are completely made by the noun clause or noun phrase or word noun in the parts of speech, which are subject and object. So remember this and these examples that you can quote to use a noun clause as a subject or object in a sentence. I hope that this video you found informative with respect to the first type of subordinating clause or dependent clause, which is noun clause. So thank you so much for watching this video. Before I sign off, I do request you to please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon button for more informative videos, and like and share my videos. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.